Hey guys, and welcome to the final day of the 12 Frantic Days of Christmas. So the plan, the original goal, I wanted to make a video that was the Game of the Year video. And that expanded to me like, hey, why not try to do this 12 video challenge for myself? And it worked to varying degrees. But we're not here to talk about that. I wanted to make a list of 10 games that I just absolutely loved from 2017. So I had a list. I wrote them all down from what I felt like is the game I liked the most to the one that I still really liked, but it may be in my 10th best liked game, you know, ranking it by my personal opinion and how I feel about them. That is a hard thing to do. That's super hard. And then I had about 6 to 7 other games sitting there like, you know what? Let's make it a top 15. So 2017 was just so packed with so many amazing titles and so many amazing experiences that I didn't even get a chance to play all of them. So before I even go into my list, I have a little list of games that I didn't get a chance to actually play through. So these will not be on the list, but I feel like they have potential to have creaked their way into the list if I would have had time to actually play them. So I only have a few listed here. We got Mario & Rabbids, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Assassin's Creed Origin, Next Machina, Persona 5, and Yakuza 0. So all those games I have either owned or want to own. Oh, and then the other one would be Nier Automata. That will not be on my list. I got about 6 to 7 hours into that game, and I am actually enjoying it a lot more than I did for the first 4 hours or 3 or 4 hours. I feel like that would probably have made it to the upper ranks on my list unless something crazy happens, but I do like it. I feel like I'm nearing the first ending of that game, and I just hit the mic, so I look down like an idiot. This one's going to be a little more freeform video. Anyway, I got to a good part in that game, and I was like, okay, I kind of get what people are saying, but I don't have full thoughts and opinions on that game, so I can't put it on my list. So those are the games that I think that would have edged their way onto the top 15 if I would have beat them. So let's go ahead and jump into the list. We're going to start from 15 and we'll count all the way up to 1. And just know that every single one of these games I loved. I had a good time with every single one of these games. So especially when it gets to my like top 6 or 7, that order could probably change on a daily basis. I've changed it like 4 or 5 times. I love every single one of those games a lot. I could play them all right now. So it's just one of those years. It was just game that I had a good time playing. I beat the most games that I've ever beat this year. Some of these games I did not beat, but I did get close enough to the end to get a full opinion on the game. So let's go ahead and start a countdown here with number 15. Which is, I have my little list here. I'm going to keep staring at my phone. I apologize. I cannot remember the exact order unless I have something in front of my face. Anyway, we got number 15. Little Nightmares. This game was an experience. I don't think there is any dialogue at all in this game. It's all about the atmosphere. It's a 2D side-scrolling game. You're like this little kid, and you're dying, and it's pretty like intense at times, and you're trying to get away from these giant like creepy and disturbing creatures. It's a really great like holiday, like I would say holiday, being like Halloween game. It kind of left me on the edge of my seat. I felt like trying to get to the edge of different sections of the game. I had a great time playing it, and I actually got the special edition with like a little figure, and I thought that was cool. It's just a random thought, but definitely one of those, if you enjoy like a Limbo or an Inside style game, that's what it is. It's a 2D, has some puzzles in it. I got stuck a couple times, but I really liked the game and I had a great time with it. So let's roll all the way over to number 14. So you're probably going to see that little video clip I just played, and you're going to think, what, Shovel Knight? That didn't come out this year. I know this is kind of cheating a little bit, but the DLC came out called Spectre of Torment. And this DLC, I played it during my 24-hour extra live stream this year. I played the entire game. I was like, oh, I'm just going to try this out. No, I got hooked. I beat it on the stream. I played it for like 6.5 hours out of the 24 hours. And it just grabbed me. It was so fun. The gameplay is just top notch. It's Shovel Knight, but you're playing as Spectre Knight. And he has this attack where he can slash through items to do different platforming challenges. So say you're on the bottom platform and you want to get to a higher platform and there's like maybe like a lamp or something there. You could do a diagonal slash upwards onto that top platform. And they play with this mechanic a lot. And some of the levels are super challenging, but it's a really rewarding game if you put the time in and you learn it. And it reminds me of like a Castlevania aesthetic, and it has just a great style, great music. It actually has a excuse me, and it actually has an incredible story to it. Like, the story actually grabbed me. In the end, I actually felt a little bit of emotion there. I kind of like, you know, choked up in the throat a little bit. I recommend anybody who loves Shovel Knight, if you play Shovel Knight and you bought it like originally, you should have this DLC automatically. If you bought it on Switch and you got the Treasure Trove Edition, you have this DLC automatically. It is a totally brand new game. 6 to 7 hours for, I'd say I'm a little bit above average platformer. If you're a great platformer, you probably could beat it in 4 or 5 hours. I did get stuck a couple times. But, yeah, that game blew me away. The art and everything in it, it was awesome. Let's roll our way to the lucky number 13. So, this game actually just came out, not even a few days ago, but I have been playing it. I played it a good amount this year, and I got a good feel for it. It is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and I don't talk about it a lot, so some people that actually talk to me on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, probably wouldn't even realize that I like this game as much as I do. But I have my best friend Xevious. Me and him played that game a lot when it first came out. I would say we put maybe 10 to 15 hours. I know that doesn't sound like a lot for a lot of people who play that game all the time, but for me, that's a good amount of time. And this is the game that I watched the most this year. I watched Giant Bomb play this, I watched Waypoint play this, I watched random Twitch streamers play this, I watched the Cartridge Club 50-hour stream, I watched them play it. It was one of the most watched games for me this year, and that puts it into the spot on my list. I had it at the end of my list, but then I thought about it like, man, I actually watched this game a lot, and it's such a good game. It's if you don't know what PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is, I'll explain it real quick. We have 100 people on a map. You drop in. You can either play with one person, duos, which is 2 people, or 4 people. And you have to survive and be the last group or last solo player in the match, and then you win, quote-unquote, winner chicken dinner, and that's the game. And it's just really tense. It's one of those games that'll make you feel so good when you get a kill. Like, there's an experience I had with my friend. We were at the, there's like the circle that closes in. If you get outside the circle, you'll die. We were driving a car. I was driving the car. It was a ATV, and he's in the back with a shotgun. We run over 2 people and then jump out and blast like 4 people away, because there was 2 squads like right near each other. And then we're like, okay, let's get in the car, get in the car, get in the car, and we died at the end of the little circle after we killed a couple people. It was pretty intense. I guess I didn't explain it 100% really well, but anyway, PlayerUnknown Battleground. That was my number 13. So that means we're gonna count up a little bit more to my number 12 game of the year.
I don't believe in ghosts. but something always felt wrong about the house. Coming back, I finally know what it is. There's just too much of it.
It's What Remains of Edith Finch. This game was really, really powerful. The story was incredible. I'm usually not one for the walking simulator, quote unquote, or first person experience, whatever you want to call it, type of game. I've played a few like Dear Esther and Gone Home. I liked Gone Home's story, but it didn't blow me away as much as it blew other people away. This one, What Remains of Edith Finch, blew me away. The story goes in so many different places. You experience so many different styles of gameplay. I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not going to spoil anything, just so you know. In this entire thing, I won't spoil anything for any of these games. Just kind of general descriptions. But there's just so many emotional and powerful moments in this game. And the ending is really good. And I just loved it. From beginning to end, it was a fantastic experience. It's recommended. If you love a story in a video game, give it a shot. So we go over to my number 11. Stranger Things. Number 11 is Splatoon 2. Splatoon 2 was one of those surprising games for me because I have a Wii U and I played the original Splatoon, but I never really got into it. I played it here and there. Mostly Sierra got into it and she would play it all the time. But for me, I got into the club like a little bit before this game came out. And the Cartridge Club, if you don't know, if you're just randomly watching this video. But basically, they're a group of people that get together to play games, and I actually got to know a lot of the people in the Cartridge Club through this game. So I had to include it on my list. Not only that, I played a lot of this game, and I had a blast playing it. Probably not a crazy amount of hours, probably around 20 hours or so. But I just thought it was such a fun game. It's so fun, it's so kid-friendly, so family-friendly. Every time I popped it on and just looked at the colors, and the music is just fun and bubbly and energetic, and I just love Splatoon 2. I feel like I could hop in at any time, even now, if I wanted to. I've been focusing on other games, but that doesn't mean that that game doesn't exist still, and it's still just an incredible game. That takes us to my number 10. Destiny 2. So Destiny 2 I have kind of a weird relationship with. I got it on PlayStation 4, and I actually leveled my character all the way up to level 20, which was the cap at the time. I think it went up a little bit since the DLC came out. And I thought it was a cool game. It's such a fun idea for a game. It's a multiplayer experience, and you're leveling up your character, getting better gear. Then there's raids you can do. There's these things called nightfalls and strikes you can do, and it's just awesome. I love the graphics of the game, and the game plays so good. The shooting is just perfect, in my opinion. And I love those loot grindy games where you level up your character, get better gear, get better gear, get better gear, get better gear, experience new location, get better gear. It's just one of those games that I would consider more of a guilty pleasure game for me. I would probably think it's maybe not like the best experience I've ever had. It's kind of, I knew what I was expecting when I went into it, but I had so much fun with it. I went ahead and sold my PlayStation 4 version and got it on Xbox so I could play with friends. So I'm currently, that's the game that I have been playing the most, is Destiny 2 on my Xbox. So I just had such a good time with it, and I'm still having a good time with it. It's just the gift that keeps on giving for me. So yeah, Destiny 2. Going on to our number 9.
Let's go get our disc and some guns. guns.
Sorry, mate. What took you so long? Had to catch a train, love.
Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. This one I didn't really think was going to make my list as I was playing and after I beat it. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, man, that was such a good game. I am a huge Uncharted fanboy. I love Uncharted. It's one of my favorite series, especially in the new modern eras. But yeah, I played through this game, and I feel like a couple of the Uncharted games, especially 2 and 4, they dragged them out. They had a lot of filler. The thing I liked about The Lost Legacy is, from the beginning, when you have Nadine and Chloe, which are 2 side characters that kind of have never interacted until now, they interact, and they actually have really good chemistry, and the acting's really good, the facial capture is really good, music's amazing, graphics amazing, what you would expect from an Uncharted game, but it's just such an action-packed experience from the beginning to the end. And there's only one little nitpick I have, is they have this open world section that felt like it brought the game down just a little bit. If that open world section would move along a little faster for me, I feel like this would have been further along in my list. But, oh, and also you're probably thinking, this is DLC. It's not. It's in a standalone game. It came on a cartridge. I can actually see it in the reflection of my camera right now behind me. Yeah, that game it kind of blew me away. It was just a lot of fun, and it had told a concise beginning, middle, and end storyline, and it was fun, and I liked it a lot. And it's just a really great adventure, and that final third act was just so action-packed and so intense that I could just not leave it off my list. So, what number are we on? I already forgot. We're on number 8. So, this is number 8.
Uh-oh.
Hat in time! Hat in time! Wow, my voice went really high there. I did not expect that. Hat in Time was so good, guys. Take your favorite GameCube, early PlayStation 2, platforming game, Psychonauts. I have a review of it. You can watch it on my channel. I'll go a little bit more in detail than I will here. But Super Mario Sunshine is one of the biggest factors and one of the biggest things that they took for inspiration for this game. In Psychonauts, I could see the double jumping abilities and stuff like that from Psychonauts, and some of the imaginativeness from Psychonauts are in this game. They have multiple worlds in this game. And each world has its own style and its own gameplay, and that platforming action is so fun. And I've played this game twice. I played through it twice on PC already. The reason I did is it's a little bit too short. If this game had a little bit more meat on it, it would probably be in my top 3. That's the only complaint I have with it. It's just a little too short. It's a little lacking. But coming from a Kickstarter background, and I say it's a little lacking in time. And wow. Anyway, coming from a Kickstarter background, it's a successful Kickstarter game, and they say they're adding more to the game. My thought on this game just goes up the more I play it, and that's what's hard about this list, because this game could easily be in my top 3, but there were so many hard-hitting titles, you know, this year. It was a hard choice, but I made the choice, and here it is. So we're gonna go over to my number 7. Wow, it's actually moving along pretty fast. Number 7.
Come and fucking get me, you fascist Nazi pig!
And if tonight we see you on the streets with a knife, or just your clenched fist fighting the powers that be, then you are one of us! Tonight, they burn.
Hell to the yeah. Wolfenstein 2. Dude, this game was so good. Oh my god, I loved every second of this game. Okay, I say that, but I love the story. The gameplay, this is the reason why this game isn't a little bit higher on my list. See, these are the little nitpicky things that you have to do when you start making one of these lists of games you love a lot. You have to start making little dumb choices like this, but I felt like the gameplay dragged at points. So, for me, I had to say, okay, I have to bring it down a little bit because of the sections. There's probably like 4 to 5 times that I got stuck on sections that were just a little too BS in my opinion. But the story is just fucking great. It's one of the best games I've played in probably the past 5 years. From just a first-person shooter action standpoint, like it's tied with Doom for me, and Doom, I was such on a high with Doom last year. Basically, Bethesda's just been killing it, man, and id Software has just been killing it. Machine Games has been killing it, and Wolfenstein 2 is so highly recommended by me. If you love first-person shooters and you love an unexpected storyline, this game goes places that I didn't expect, and I was literally, my jaw was just open. My jaw was on the ground like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 times in this game. So Wolfenstein 2, such a good game, and it just gets better from here. Number 6. Cuphead. Oh my god, Cuphead, guys! Okay, Cuphead's one of those stories that it got announced, I don't know, 2013, 2014, and it just people kept talking about it like, it's not gonna be that good. It's just gonna be a cool art style. So it's like a 30s flasher animation style. And they turned it into like a Contra game. And then there's some shooter stages in there. It's just so good. I don't know how they did this, right? They have, so for every frame of animation in this game, there are 30 cells of animation, or no, it's 60 because it's 60 frames per second. So they put 60 frames of animation per second in this game. So if you look at how beautiful its graphics are, it's just so perfect. It's so buttery, that's not a word, buttery smooth. And the platforming is so perfect. It's so good, and it's punishing, right? So you feel like, okay, it's mostly a boss rush. You got bosses you got to go. You got an overworld, like, you know, what's a good example? So I keep thinking of Chrono Trigger when I think of it. It's not exactly like that, but similar. You have an overworld where you go to different levels. You go to levels. I would say Super Mario 3, but Super Mario 3 is on a path. So, whatever. It's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. I haven't been able to say that recently. That's besides the point. You go to your levels. You have side-scrolling stages that are somewhat hard. I wouldn't say that they're the shining moments of this game, but the boss battles are. When they originally designed this game, it was just going to be a boss rush. You were just going to go from boss to boss to boss. But people complained like, oh, we need some side-scrolling stages. But the bosses themselves have multiple phases they go through and transformations they go through. Some of the most wacky and just bizarre animation you're ever going to see in a game, let alone like a cartoon style game. And the style is what really sets this off as just a beautiful game. And then the music is perfect, and the gameplay, like I said like 4 times already, just so good. You feel like it's gonna push you and punish you and punish you, but once you beat that boss, it's such a great feeling because you learn from all those deaths. And the bosses are only like 3 minutes long, but you'll spend like 30 to 45, maybe an hour or more on a boss learning all the different ins and outs of it. It's just one of those games that is going to go down as one of my favorites, and I would love to pick it back up and just play a boss anytime. That's Cuphead for you guys. Like I said, it's just going to keep on getting better from here. Number 5. leaning against my shelf there. Number 5, we got Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania is one of those games that I've been wanting for so long, right? I've been a Sonic fan for years. I played Sonic 1 through 3 and all that stuff as a kid, and for years and years and years, we've always wanted just a throwback Sonic game that modernizes it, and this is exactly what it is. I've played this game twice too. So yeah, that shows how much I like it. I played it through with Sonic and Tails, and then I played it again with Knuckles. This game is just pure Sonic goodness. So take everything you like from Sonic and some of the things you don't like, but I forgive those things because it makes it feel more authentic to classic Sonic. There's a little bit of nitpicky things. Like if you, okay, let's just say there's 2 acts per level. If you go to the end of Act 2 and you die, you have to start both acts over again. And that can get repetitive if you die with some random death that you didn't really mean to do. But it had that classic feel to it, so I forgave it. A lot of fun though. A lot of fun. I love the boss battles. There's so many surprises in there. I don't want to give anything away. But if you're a Sonic fan, if you're a Sega fan, Sonic Mania is a must play. And I hope they do a sequel. I really, really do. Sonic Mania, man, I want to play it right now. Just talking about it. So good. So freaking good. Man, are we already on my top 4? This is flying by. Top 4, guys. We're on my number 4. Number 4, and this is really high on my list, and I'm sure it might surprise a few people. Number 4 is Night in the Woods. This game came out early in the year. I think it came out February or March. But it's a side-scrolling game, and it's a story-based game too. There's no spoken dialogue. There's just like background music that's really nice, and so you go to different people in the town, and you can do different mini games based on the characters and stuff, but that's not the central focus of the story. I thought the story is what pushed it up there, and I always keep thinking about this game. It's just one of those that stuck with me, and I actually started tearing up a couple of times because this game gets really, really emotional. I got really invested in the characters, and it just means a lot to me. This is one of those games I will play for years and years to come, and that's why it's so high on my list. I cannot speak higher for this game for me, because I grew up in a small town, if you didn't know, and this game just shows, you know, small town people having everyday situations, and then some crazy stuff happens, and you learn about these characters. You learn to love every single character in this game, and you can tell the people that made this game loved their characters and loved their story, and it comes through with the dialogue. The dialogue feels real. It feels like actual people talking to each other, and the art style is cool. I love the art style. It's kind of almost looks like cutout paper-ish. I can't really describe it. Just look it up. Look at some of the gameplay. I might have some playing right now. Who knows? But the gameplay is simple, but the story is what really shines. And the character development, the characters, they feel like real lived-in characters that have background, that have motivation, and have different personality, and you actually feel it as you play. And I just remember all these characters like I would remember my friends back home. And this game had a really lasting effect on me, and I cannot wait to play it again, because they came out with the director's cut this year. So next year I'll probably be playing it again with the director's cut footage. So, and this is probably why I didn't get to some of these other games, because I play some of these games twice because I like them so much. But you know, it's not about, this is not really my job. I do this for fun, these videos and stuff. So I'm like, you know what? If I want to play this game again, screw it. I'm playing it again. So it looks like we're on our top 3. Wow. Let's do it.
The massacre was only the beginning. Who did this to us? Who attacked the tribe? All we can do is pray to the goddess. No. Praying won't save us. We have to find the killers.
So you will have to leave the sacred land.
Where the trail leads, I will go.
Whew. This one was a hard choice. So, my top 3, I could shuffle them around 5,000 times. And I would still love them just as much. But this is the list I feel like the most comfortable putting out there and the most set on. The most, I don't know what to say. It's like a gnat or something on my face. Anyway, number 3 we got Horizon Zero Dawn. I can't stay on topic during this video at all. But, hey, whatever. Horizon Zero Dawn, okay? And it's going to be obvious what my top 2 are, but I'm not going to say it right now. You guys probably already guessed, but whatever. Horizon Zero Dawn is an open-world action-adventure game. The reason why I like this game so much is there's so many things, actually. The gameplay for me, just for my personal preference, is the style of game I like. It's super action-packed. You have to learn how to take out these creatures, these giant mechanical creatures. The setting is just so... I just love the setting. So it's post-apocalyptic, so it's after apocalypse has happened and people have developed a new society. But the machines have taken over the world, so there are these machines that are getting corrupted. Like these normal animals that probably wouldn't hurt people at all, that are getting corrupted. You have to actually uncorrupt them, you know, kill them. And then there's a storyline about like this native society in the future. It just has so many layers, so much depth to it. And there's all these little audio logs and all this stuff throughout the environments that I just love to like peek into, read all these journals, read all these entries, listen to all these audio logs to learn more about this world. This world's so unique that that's what probably pushed it over the line for me for being so high on my list, because there is no game that I've ever played that was like this. And you could say, okay, you climb towers, quote unquote, okay, it's an open world game, but the setting, the gameplay, like the mechanics themselves, the crafting different traps and destroying these monsters is way different than most open world games. The character, the different characters, especially the main character Aloy, you become familiar with them, you learn them, you learn their motivations, you become you start to love them after a while. You're like, man, these characters are so cool, you know. And I love the idea that you go deep into the mines that are like electronic and stuff. It's super cool, and you can learn how to take over different creatures that are motorized, like, because all the creatures are motorized except for like some smaller mammals and stuff. And you can start riding them, and they can start helping you in battle and stuff. It's just, there's so much to this game, and I spent so many hours in it, and I just have so many fond experiences playing this game. So that's why it's my number 3. So we're gonna go into my number 2.
Here it comes!
Save her, my daughter.
Open your eyes.
The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Oh, I have a lot to say about this game. So this game, compared to Horizon, I was going back and forth on them so many times. I'm like, okay, delete Horizon, put Zelda there, delete Zelda, put Horizon there. But I decided Zelda was a little bit, I would say probably a significant amount above Horizon, just because of how unique it is. It's one of those games, and one of those you have to experience for yourself. And everybody's experience is going to be different, because it is one of the you take the word open world game. You kind of know what to expect. Okay, there's going to be markers on your map. You go here, 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 here. That's kind of how Horizon plays, but it has some different options, and I don't want to go into that. We already talked about that game. But when it comes to Zelda, okay, you start on a plateau, and it's kind of like a tutorial area. You learn every single character. You learn every single power that Zelda, I almost said Zelda, that Link. Okay, let me slow my roll because I'm stuttering over my words here. You learn all the different powers Link has. He has a freeze, different. God, I can't talk. He has a freeze mechanic. He has a magnetic mechanic. He can move metal objects, and then you learn that when you go into shrines, that you get that defeating shrines is part of the mission, and then you go off the plateau, and you can go in any direction you want. So what happened to me is I went off the plateau. I'm like, I'm gonna go this way. Dead. Okay. I'm gonna go this way. Okay. I'm surviving a little bit more. Oh, what is that thing? What the hell? It's just one of those games that you don't know what's gonna happen, and exploring the world is just half of the fun. Going to these different shrines, there's so many different shrines, there's so many different puzzle mechanics, and I love puzzle games. It's one of my favorite genres, and it's like a puzzle game with an open world game with action adventure game. The things that did bug me a little is the weapon destruction and stuff. That bugged me, but I forgave it because the rest of the game was so well told. The story was really, really good. And I want to tell you guys, I didn't beat this game. Okay? Okay, so you're like, oh, you're number 2, you didn't beat. Yeah, but I put so many hours into this game. I put like 45 hours into this game. And that's a lot. And I experienced so much in this game. I keep saying this game. I experienced so much when I was playing that I know that this game will be one of those that keeps on giving to me when I want to pop into that world and just be in that world for a while. Because it's so beautiful. The graphics are stunning. I just love Breath of the Wild, guys. And that's an obvious thing. That's going to win so many Game of the Year awards this year. And it deserves it. It took a formula that we all know and love, and it's expanded it so much. It expanded it more than anybody could have thought. You could climb anything. You could go anywhere. You could talk to anybody. You can... There's so many secrets, too. The Korok Seed, there's 999 or whatever, and then they have that DLC that just came out where you can freaking get a motorcycle. What? It's freaking ridiculous. Breath of the Wild, definitely, if you have a Switch, or if you plan to get a Switch, you need to pick up that game. 100%. Even if you have a Wii U, pick it up on your Wii U and play it. That game is, you cannot miss that game. Breath of the Wild, my number 2 slot. So, we're going to go over to my number 1 pick for 2017.
Come on! Here we go, off the rails. But you know, it's time to raise our sails. It's freedom like you never knew. 20 flags or a pass. Say the word, I'll be there in a flash. You could say my hat is off to you. Oh, we can zoom all the way to the moon. Oh, this great wide wacky world. Jump with me, grab.
Yahoo! Waha! It's Super Mario Odyssey, guys. That's an obvious choice for me. How much I talk about Mario. It's pretty much my favorite series. And that does take my opinion. And you know, it's kind of biased. This whole list is biased. I love Mario. They took every convention you could think of from any 3D and any 2D Mario. They turned it on its head and they made it all new. They have so many different worlds. And then, of course, there's a capture mechanic. You throw your cap on stuff, and you become that thing. And they do so many unique things with that. there were so many times when I was playing this game that I was just smiling. And this game just put so much joy into my life, especially when I'm down. Like sometimes I get down, right? I pop in Mario and I play that game. I'm instantly smiling and having a good time. That is something you cannot say for some games. And it's just I would just say it's a video game There's not much layers to it. The story does do some cool stuff near the end. There's some cool stuff there. I'm not gonna go into it. There's some stuff that I was like, holy crap, if is nostalgic as fuck. Oh yeah, okay, this is cool, and I was kind of blown away by. But the game, all in all, especially New Donk City, like I said, the ending, turning into a T-Rex. Come on, there's so many cool things about this game. I could go on and on and on and on and on, but let's just say Super Mario Odyssey for me, for this year, for my moods this year, is this the game I've been looking for, the game I've been wanting so much, and then it delivered on everything I wanted, and then some. And there's just so many silly moments in there, and it just makes me happy, and that's really why I play video games. So Super Mario Odyssey is just so good, and it's my game of the year. So damn, I've been talking for a while. But yeah, Super Mario Odyssey, probably a system seller for the Switch anyway. Like, if you don't get Zelda, get Mario. But I would be playing that game probably for the next 3 or 4 years. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I say that, but I know one day I'm gonna sit there and binge. There's so much to find. There's so many things to do, and I love it. Game of the Year 2017. I hope you guys enjoyed this a little bit long-winded episode, or video that I made. But I figured I would do something really nice to round out my year, to round out this video, 12 Frantic Days of Christmas little event I made. So I would do my Game of the Year. I will leave the entire list. Actually, I won't put it in the description. I'll put the list on the screen right now. You can pause it, whatever. And if you guys agree, disagree, let me know. What are your Game of the Years? What are your top 3? What's your top 5? Let me know. I would love to read some lists. I love Game of the Year. I look forward to Game of the Year all year because I love seeing what people think, and I love to talk about games that we all had a good time with. So this is the first time I'm making a video like this, but I want to make it a yearly thing. So if you guys like this, you have suggestions for future years, let me know. And I hope you guys like 12 Frantic Days of Christmas. If you didn't watch some of the videos, that's fine. Some of them are long. But go back to the backlog the last 12 days and pick a couple and watch them and let me know how you guys feel. And if you think I could do that in the future, if you want me to do that in the future, I'll do it again. I liked it. It took up a lot of my last couple weeks, but it was a blast. But as always, you guys have a fantastic holiday. Merry Christmas. This video comes out on Christmas, so Merry Christmas. Go see your family and have a fantastic New Year. I will see you then. Bye. That was weird. Bye.